Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, which is an unboxing video. So you may have seen a few days ago I did an unboxing of this little fella, which is a Zoomer Hedgiez by Spin Master. And I saw another Zoomer Hedgiez and I thought, I've got to buy this. I couldn't turn it down because it was only £5.39 including shipping. I can't believe somebody sold something for £5.39 on eBay including shipping.
No, it's a bit close to the bone, isn't it?
So it's different colour, and I thought it would be interesting because I'm going to see how they perform like next to each other. Is there any variability in how the mechanism works in them? And you did say you thought there might be some variability if you put in different weighted batteries, didn't you?
Yeah, because they finally balanced, aren't they, the way they roll over.
So I thought, try them with the same batteries and then try them with different weighted batteries next to each other. And it should be interesting.
Experiment time.
Sure is. So without further ado, I'll get into this.
It's a contrast. It's got spots.
Ah, that's a boy and that's a girl.
Does it have batteries in?
For £5.39, I would be very surprised. It hasn't got batteries in, so I'll pop some batteries in and get back to you folks. So folks, this is what happens when you buy something for £5.39.
Batteries have been left in, and we've got quite a bit of corrosion in the battery box.
Yes. What do you suggest doing with these contacts here?
A brush with a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and some isopropyl. I'll go and do that for you now, you know.
Oh, would you? So Paul carefully cleaned the inside of the battery box and he cleaned the contacts, and we put fresh batteries in, but it's still not working. So it looks like there might have been some spillage into the electronics, Paul.
It could be that the battery terminals are corroded to the point where they've actually broken. They look okay from the surface.
All right.
Underneath, they might have broken.
But folks, this is a perfect excuse to take this apart, because you know we love taking things apart and seeing how they work.
Let's do it.
So we're going to take it apart, see if we can find out what's wrong with it, if the corrosion's gone deep into the product, and at the same time we should be able to see how the mechanism works in this, which will be interesting. So do you think you'll start with these 4 screws here, Paul?
I was thinking of starting with these screws around here.
Oh, you know, I never even noticed those.
Just it might allow us to get into the little crappy screwdriver works. Might allow us to get into the battery box quickly to see what the problem is there. It's always a pleasure taking things apart.
It's always very interesting.
What was the rating the people who sold it?
The seller? I didn't look at the rating, I just saw £5.39 and thought I'll have that. Because I thought even if it's broken, it's worth paying £5.39 to take it apart and see how it works. So, how many screws is that then? 4? Because I can only see 2 here. Oh, look at that. Look at that shell. That's fascinating.
There's 2 more just come out now.
That's interesting. You could recover this in your own sort of fur so easily because it's just like a shell that comes out.
Right, the battery box comes apart, which is great news.
Oh, splendid. Can we just have a quick look
Yeah.
at this? This is interesting. So this is what it looks like underneath its shell.
Looks like a Volkswagen Beetle, doesn't it?
So is this some sort of like hinged mechanism?
Yes, it is.
So that's what moves.
We've got full access to dismantling the battery box, which is lovely.
Nice plastic moulding on it, Paul.
Very nice indeed, yeah.
What's that yellow component there?
It's a current fuse. If too much current flows through the device, like say the motor shorts out, if the current rises, then this cuts it off.
Right, so it's like a fuse.
But it resets itself after so long. So.
Oh, it's not like a fuse that blows then?
No.
Ah, there's some corrosion there, isn't there?
Quite a bit of corrosion still left.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And there as well. This terminal was the main one that was corroded. That should actually come out. There we go. There, see the springs.
Ooh,
The
dear
springs
me.
almost.
Yeah, what a mess.
So
Have you got another spring you could put on terminal rather than have to try and clean all that muck off there? You did have some spring terminals, didn't you? That we used for the Furby battery covers.
yeah, it's likely that's causing the problem. So yeah, the this terminal, it's the spring on it that's really, really corroded, and its fixture, the fixing of the spring to the base of that metal. So it's likely, if we take that off and renew it with a new spring.
Just with a spring, then you don't have to renew the whole terminal. Just
No,
the spring.
I can get that spring out of that terminal and put a new piece of spring in.
Does it not matter that it's got all of that gunky stuff
Well, once
on the terminal?
when that spring comes out of the terminal, it'll just be a flat piece of metal, so I can clean it up properly.
Right.
I'll show you now. I'll do it now. So we're going to remove this spring. Yeah.
It's bad if you get it on your hands as well, though, isn't it?
Well, it's not going to burn like acid, but you don't want to leave it on too long. Part of that spring's just broken off then because it's
corroded
almost corroded
so
through.
much.
So it's obviously not going to be a good electrical contact.
No.
So we'll get that out. So these springs are just pressed in, trapped by a metal contact which is pressed down. There's quite a bit of corrosion on it.
I thought batteries today, modern batteries, aren't as likely to leak.
If you get a Duracell battery, something that's called an alkaline battery, they normally have, apart from the casing on the outside, they're enclosed in a plastic sheath, so they shouldn't leak at all. It's zinc carbon batteries that are the problem.
But these aren't zinc carbon, are they?
I don't know what the ones were that you took out. I didn't look at them closely.
I didn't think they still sold.
Yeah, you can. There we go. We've got the spring out of there, so this terminal can be cleaned up now.
Right.
This terminal can be cleaned up, and we can get a new piece of spring and put it in there. I would think
it'll be good as new.
I would think it'd work after that.
So Paul's brought the power supply down, and we're going to test it because the thing is, if there's something else wrong with it, there's no point in you doing all that cleaning up and fixing the terminals.
So if it works when we connect the power supply to it, then we know the problems with the terminals on the batteries, and they just want cleaning up properly, thoroughly.
Is it switched on?
What?
The Hedgehog.
Yes, it is. It is now. It's switched on. So it's 4 cells, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is 6 volts. To have the current down, just in case there's a problem with it. Okay, so we want 6 volts. Okay, so 6 volts. Right polarity. Positive on here. Negative on here.
Ooh, will it work? Whee!
Hello.
So it is just the contacts.
Yeah.
Hello.
So once we've cleaned those battery contacts up tomorrow, she'll be all right. Hey! Look at that, even with a power supply connected, eh?
So what are these batteries that
There you go, zinc carbon, it even says on.
Ah.
They always leak at the end of the life, zinc carbon batteries, always, they're guaranteed.
Don't buy zinc carbon batteries, folks.
Yeah, no, they're cheap, they're slightly cheaper, but always
Buy
alkaline.
alkaline.
They're not worth bothering with.
So Paul, you've put a new spring on.
We put a new spring on there.
And you've cleaned the contact.
It's all been cleaned
terminal.
down, yeah, and the spring's actually been soldered on this time, so there's a good electrical connection. We've also cleaned that contact and soldered the spring onto the terminal. So there's
There's no spring there.
There's a spring.
Oh, a spring on the other side, right.
So the spring goes through the bottom, and then you can see that it's been soldered on.
Right.
Rather than relying on just a pressure contact.
Right.
So we're going to assemble this battery box back together now. I've washed these plastic parts out as well.
Nice moulded part, that. Like it. Nice and neat.
Yeah.
Right, so this is one of the back feet, and you took it apart and cleaned it out, Paul. So it picked up quite a bit of rubbish.
Yeah, it's just basically off the carpet. So this is like an interesting mechanism. So this is one of the back feet in position on the Hedgehog with a rubber roller on it, wheel, and when it's in that position, it allows the Hedgehog to go forward. But when you try and push it back, the wheel locks. So the Hedgehog can come forward, and when you try and push it back, the wheel locks.
Right.
I know you can't see that there, but I can feel the friction on my hand. And I think that's important for part of the mechanism when the Hedgehog's rolling over, because sometimes it's going halfway and pausing. And these locking wheels stop the back end from sliding back like that. And it's a simple mechanism. So it's a rubber wheel with like a type of cog on it, but those teeth are shaped to engage in this component, so that it'll ride over when it's going one way around, but lock when it tries to go the other way around.
Now,
you can see it, can't you? So it rides over that way, but locks when you try to turn it back that way.
Interesting.
You focused on that?
Yeah.
So it allows the wheel to go around that way, as you can see. That little mechanism arm is riding up.
And if you try to push it the other way...
And if you try and push it the other way, when it locks.
Isn't that a clever little mechanism?
You can hear the locking mechanism riding over the gear teeth one way, and that's what gives the little clicky sound.
Right, so why was one of the feet not clicking?
I think it's just something to do with like the build-up of dirt in it.
So it's the build-up of dirt stopping it from working properly?
Yes. It was stopping the arm dropping down into the sort of latching cog mechanism.
Right. That's a nice bit of engineering, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So it doesn't work when it's on its back?
No, because the gravity's pulling the arm the wrong way.
It's got to be this way. Interesting.
And try going the opposite way.
Oh, yeah. Can't push it at all there.
Let's put the foot back in. Okay. And let's get some batteries and the battery cover.
Hey! Back in business.
Okay.
It was a job well done, that, Paul.
Yeah.
I thought that they might have given the pink one different coloured eyes, you know. But they'll give it green eyes. It's a bit sort of mean. You think they could have put different coloured LEDs in, wouldn't you?
Maybe, yeah. 4 screws left. That's good. And 4 holes to put them in. So what you mean? Maybe give it red LEDs or pink eyes or something.
Pink
like that.
would be nice. I don't particularly like green. I don't know why they give them all green. It would be nice if the blue had blue LED eyes, and this one had like pink LED eyes. Would be nice. They've given them exactly the same voice and exactly the same sounds as well. The sounds are exactly the same. I think they should have given it like maybe a slightly different pitched voice or something like that. Would have been nice.
No, that's why it's got those locking wheel mechanisms when it pushes itself up like that.
Whoa!
Hey!
Have you cleaned both of the feet mechanisms?
No, just one.
Just
the other
one.
one seemed okay. The nose
Oh,
goes
the
in
other
and
one
out. I
seemed
didn't know. I
okay.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's quite subtle that movement of the nose in and out, isn't it?
Is, yeah. Got a bit of buzzing on that one. It's just the motor control circuitry.
Why should it be buzzing for?
Just variation between them. Way.
Nose is on its back.
Yeah.
I think that's quite clever how they know they're on the back and acknowledge it.
They're not able to get up then.
No. So what I'll do is I'll switch the other one on and we'll see how they perform next to each other. See if they're exactly the same or if there's some variation.
Okay.
So Paul's going to switch the hedgehogs on. In unison. So we're going to try them on the fabric floor now. So they both ended up on the back. They're both performing about the same, aren't they? They're both ending up on the back a lot. So in another video, we're going to weigh the batteries.
Get different types of battery sets.
And we'll put heavier batteries in one than the other.
Yeah.
And then we can test them side by side. One of the good things is that they seem to be performing the same. So that's a good starting point before you start altering other things. Because you'd think it's something to do with the weight at the back of them, whether they can roll all the way over.
Yes, I do, yeah.
So we'll have to explore that in another video because this video's been mainly fixing this little pink one, hasn't it?
It has.
So folks, that's about it for this video. Hope you found that entertaining to some degree. Thanks for watching as always and hope to see you next time.